Let's talk a little Notre Dame recruiting. As Irish fans, recruiting ebbs and flows, and recently they've suffered a couple losses, Mike, but this weekend we have a monster official visit weekend, 21 official visitors this weekend. Is this really the start of Notre Dame's summer recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, last weekend Notre Dame had their big, events for the 2027 and 28 classes, and I mean, Josh, Notre Dame has had zero official visitors on campus yet. So, like Thursday night when these kids come to town and then spend the weekend in South Bend, like this is it for Notre Dame. Like they've built a really nice class. It's in the top 5 right now in the On3 industry ranking, but like you have some huge targets for Notre Dame coming in. So yeah, you had a couple defensive line losses this week, but other schools have had 2 OV weekends already. Like, so yeah, Notre Dame's not landing new commitments right now, but they are about to get their turn.
All right, let's get into these 21 official visitors. Of course, some of these guys are already committed, so you're going to have a little help with when it comes to recruiting, with peer-to-peer recruiting with some of these committed players. But who are the headliners this weekend, Mike?
So 16 of Notre Dame's 12, 12 of Notre Dame's 16 commitments on campus this weekend. Wow. And yeah, so they're definitely recruiting, and that's the quarterback commit, offensive line. So it's a big deal, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And Notre Dame has some huge ones coming to campus. And Caden Finley, Josh, every time I talk to you, I feel like we talk about these two guys. Caden Finley, the wide receiver from Texas, and Joey O'Brien, the elite two-way athlete from Pennsylvania. Joey O'Brien's, of course, announcing his commitment next weekend, which is a huge deal. Notre Dame needs to land him at all costs. And Caden Finley coming off the board July 4th. So we're looking at Notre Dame versus Texas for Finley, with A&M kind of as another factor. And then, of course, for O'Brien, Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Oregon being his 4 finalists. 2 tight end targets coming to campus, and Preston Frizel and Evan Jacobson. Huge offensive tackle target, Grayson McHugh, a teammate of Joey O'Brien's at LaSalle College. I mean, Kari Adams is like a borderline 5-star guy, the cornerback from Loyola, Blakefield, Maryland. And now I'm just now getting to him, an absolute monster target for the Irish. Braden Robinson, a speedster from Texas at the receiver position. North Carolina safety, Nick Reddish. And Larry Fitzgerald's son, Devin Fitzgerald from Phoenix Brophy Prep. Which Notre Dame's had some good success recruiting at that high school. Ben Morrison went there, 2nd-round pick in this past draft. So, yeah, huge weekend of recruiting for Notre Dame. And let me add this real quick. Notre Dame receiver commit Dylan Faison just had a Miami offer in the past week. Thomas Davis Jr., the linebacker pledge, just officially visited Georgia at the end of May. So it's key for a couple of these official visitors, too, to make sure they're locked in.
Yeah, and let's go back to Joey O'Brien and Caden Finley, because we do talk about them so much when it comes to the Irish. We know they are at the top of the board. But over the last couple of weeks, we've seen them take all these visits. Is it hard for Notre Dame fans to just kind of sit back and watch O'Brien and Finley just gush and rave over all these other schools before getting back to South Bend?
It's funny because last year, Josh, it was a little bit flipped for how Notre Dame did OVs. They front loaded. It was like the first 2 weekends they did a ton and then didn't at the end. So it's like Notre Dame's not getting the last visit. This year it's the opposite. They're doing June 13th and June 20th with, I think, 1 midweek visitor next week, maybe a couple. We'll see where things go. Notre Dame would love to get Ephraim White, the Florida State athlete, commit on campus next week. So we'll see. But it's funny how that can kind of go. Yeah. But I do like Notre Dame for Finley, and then O'Brien is. Do you remember Derek Meadows' recruitment last year where it was like, man, is it LSU? Is it Bama? Is it Notre Dame? Like, it just kind of seems like a different day. It's a different thing. I've equated Joey O'Brien's recruitment to Derek Meadows, where Notre Dame was in so early on the Las Vegas Bishop Gorman wide receiver who did end up at Alabama. And, Joey O'Brien, like Notre Dame fans don't want me to compare those because the Irish didn't land Meadows. But it's just like, man, you really could see him ending up at Clemson. You really could see him ending up at Penn State. I think Oregon's 4th, but Joey O'Brien's a superstar. You could see Oregon. I logged a prediction for him to land at Notre Dame in March of 2024. I feel okay about it. Notre Dame sources feel pretty good, but it's just one of those recruitments where I'm sure each staff feels good.
Yeah, so, outside of O'Brien and Finley, who we know will be making their decisions when they make their decisions on their own time, is there anybody else you're watching this weekend that maybe on commit watch?
the two tight ends, I think that, we broke this news at Blue and Gold on Monday or Tuesday that Jacobson canceled his Auburn and Florida State visits and moved up his Notre Dame official visit from June 20th to June 13th, and then added Iowa State as a midweek OV next week. I think that bodes well for Notre Dame. I could see a scenario where he doesn't even take the Iowa State visit. I think he could commit to Notre Dame this weekend. And then Preston Frizel, who is listed at tight end, but he's just really impressive wide receiver as well. 3-star guy who Notre Dame really likes and has merged in the board in the spring. So the two tight ends, it's Notre Dame. These tight ends got to be coming off the board soon. And then, of course, Notre Dame would love to get word on, guys like Finley and O'Brien who do have commitment dates here in the next couple weeks.
All right, Irish fans, 21 official visitors this weekend. Let us know who you think the Irish add. Comment section below.